Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Skylar. I'll be your host as usual. And welcome to Relic Replay. Today I wanted to dive into the world of collecting, more specifically in Super Nintendo. Something that I ran across recently and I wasn't aware of, and maybe this will help you along, or maybe you already knew this. I don't know. I don't know where you're at in collecting, and I don't know if you even care this much, but we're generally talking about variants. Now, this here is your normal standard copy of Donkey Kong Country 2. And I'm sure that we're all aware of a version that would look something more like this, now having this seal player's choice, the dreaded player's choice. Some people love it, some people hate it. Some people look at it as you gotta collect both. I personally only need one, and I'm not too picky. In this case, I think it's quite obvious that the original is in better shape, so that's how I collect. This one stays, this one goes. But since I have both of them, I just wanted to point out the fact that that's a thing. And while I don't have a player's choice Donkey Kong Country 2, I wanted to show that set F-Zero here will also have a player's choice version out there. There we go. And as you can see, the label is pretty shiny still, because on a player's choice for Nintendo, it's still a Nintendo. It's still they're still the ones making it. They're still the ones producing it. So it comes out nice. In contrast, I didn't really get into or show you the original, so I guess I'll go into that. The label is not particularly different when you're looking at an original copy. You can see the shine is generally the same. Maybe a little duller on player's choice, but I gotta tell you, I think personally it's made of the same label material. Now, this might be, something that bothers people, and again, it doesn't really bother me particularly which one I have, but it does bother me when they don't match. They gotta match, right? So this is actually not a real complete, because I have the box and the game are correct, but the manual inside is unfortunately the player's choice. And that's kind of why I haven't gotten rid of the player's choice box yet, is because I feel like they should be sold together at the very least. Another way that you can find out whether the box and manual match and that sort of thing, this is going to be very, very difficult for me because this box is not in the best of shape, honestly. But you can see this SNS ADNE-USA-1 matches with this manual. You see it also has that -1 that we talked about just a moment ago, right there. On the original box, though, it will show this number instead, which is the same thing without the -1, because this is the original release. So there's another reason, or another way you can figure out whether your box and manual match. A little harder with the game, but usually the game will actually have the same thing right there. Boom. And again, you can see that made in Japan versus the assembled that is on a Majesco copy. Or I'm not even sure. The player's choice continues with the trend of made in because it's officially licensed or released by Nintendo still. Now, moving on from Player's Choice, as we all probably already know about, Super Nintendo went into this weird thing where the ones that Nintendo picked up were Player's Choice, but there was also other ones that were picked up by a brand called Majesco. Some of you may know the Frogger being the last game on the system. It's the best example of it is a Majesco game, or produced or manufactured, whatever you want to, I guess it'd be manufactured really, by Majesco. And though I can't really find where it says on the box, Frogger in a weird way does show it right on the cartridge itself. So you'll see that Majesco sales right there. But now also it's a great thing to see that the label is more paper per se. It's a lot less shiny. It has more of a dull look to it. And in a Majesco version, also, the manual is always black and white, which is really what got me down this rabbit hole, was the fact that I found, other than Frogger was actually only produced this way. Being the last game on the Super Nintendo, it was only produced this way. But aside from Frogger, many other games were made under this Majesco umbrella. Now, a colored manual, obvious. I mean, looks fantastic. Looks much better than... Sorry, I'm very distracted by it, putting these back in and out of the boxes. I wanted to show you just one more Majesco. You can see again on this Taz that it's very paper-like. Also, while we're here, you see where it says assembled in Mexico? Right about there, right where my finger's at. All of the Majesco ones seem to say assembled rather than made in. I'm not sure why they chose that or what, but also worth noting, all the Majesco ones don't have, this is like manufactured right into the cart versus it being a sticker label like most games were at the time. To kind of go along with that, I also wanted to point out here on the box, you can see right about here where it shows distributed by Majesco Sales. That means that this is the black and white manual box. That's what should be in here. Now, this one happens to be that way, but there is a colored version of the manual and one that doesn't say Majesco. Again, also right here saying assembled rather than made in Mexico. Just something kind of weird that I thought was worth sharing. And to, I mean, not that you don't believe me or you don't understand what colored versus not colored, but it would be a full colored manual. However, this, to complicate things, is actually Player's Choice manual, in that the numbers up here, you see this little -1, would mean that it was a later variant of this manual. And actually, oddly, on Donkey Kong Country here also, this Diddy Kong's Quest is in a weird brown color when it should be a green color, just like the box and game, obviously. So that's it. That's really that's what I had to share today on what I discovered coming across these strange manuals versus it was a rabbit hole that I started going down on black and white versus colored manuals and why that is. And I haven't done any research as to who Majesco is or why they really existed and why it couldn't have just continued same manufacturing process as normal. I mean, obviously, Majesco took the cheap route on everything. From what I understand, they were there to make those $20 bin kind of games versus, your full retail $60 game. So I do understand that is the main reason why they existed or whatever. They could produce the carts at a cheaper cost. And one thing I didn't really get into was the actual feel of the cardboard box itself. Now, obviously, on a Donkey Kong Country, it feels pretty. I mean, it's hefty for what it is. I mean, it's a thin cardboard, so I mean, it really is what it is, But when you get into the Majesco boxes, they just have a more, I don't know if I'd want to say, it just feels cheaper. It just feels like a cheaper sort of material. Even looking at like the inside, you can see kind of like it looks very it looks fibrous, if you will, versus an original release is very smooth to the touch on the inside. The inside flap cardboard is what I'm really touching here to make the assumptions or whatever that I am making, but but aside from that, I mean, color seems to be generally the same. I think you can almost kind of see also, I don't know if you can pick that up on camera or not. I'll try to get, you can kind of see these up and down lines in this box where the original is much smoother. I don't know, it doesn't really have that same, I mean, to an extent, I guess it kind of does, but I do really think that there's some kind of different cardboard going on here. But anyway, that sort of concludes what I wanted to talk to you guys about, and that was just a fun little thing that I thought everybody should know, and certainly that's not the only variant things that are out there. I'm sure that there was maybe label changes altogether. But anywho, with all that being said, thanks for joining in. Thanks for sitting down and listening to me rant for however long this may have been. But I hope you walk away learning something new, and as I did in the last few weeks here of getting more and more into collecting, and you can kind of see what I got going on back here. This is the collection for the most part. That's all the games. Maybe someday I'll do a room tour, but I think we'll have to get to 1,000 subscribers before I even consider that. So tell your friends if you want to see it. You gotta tell your friends, sign up, subscribe. I will try to keep these videos coming with little tidbits here and there, and I hope you enjoy coming down here with me and hanging out and talking about the collection or talking about games or whatever. Someday I do hope to do a live thing so I can talk to you guys one-on-one while we're messing with something here. But until then, I'll keep trying and you keep watching. Thank you. See you later.